were just talking about it because we're still on Suicide Squad. If you came back.
First, Andrew Counterman is playing.
Yeah. Hey! Andrew Couch! Andrew Couch! Andrew Couch! It's the Andrew Couch! Woo! Woo! I like this.
Hi! Hi! Welcome back to the Andrew Couch.
Brian's going to be pissed that he didn't get to be a part of this. Brian, sorry, you're off the show. The Andrew Couch was really getting it.
Yeah.
Brian's dead now. So the stories go.
Can we just have a file photo of me with like 30 cigarettes in my mouth?
Sure, we can use that one.
From the archives.
From the archive.
Yeah.
From the Arcade Cabinet Archives.
Go.
I was saying that, like, Katana's in the movie, and she has, like, little to no reason to be in the movie at all. I love Boomer, but also he doesn't have a reason to be there.
Right.
Like,
They could have cut the squad by 3 people.
Yeah.
Not really suffered.
and they explain.
God, this guy's had like
Kind of like the
5
Avengers.
years.
The Avengers wasn't, how many was it the first go around?
It's like 7 people. Like, it was at least 5. I want to say 7.
I love how they introduce Slipknot. He hits a woman, and then he gets his head blown up.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Slipknot's in it for 5 minutes,
5
and
minutes.
he explodes. Yeah. They're just like, and there's Slipknot. I was like, oh, you didn't get a vignette? That means you're going to die. Like,
That was like the one.
We have
part I
to
saw.
we have to show somebody's head blowing up.
Now this native fellow can climb like a squirrel, eh?
can his head survive a nanite explosion? Not today.
Oh, fuck. I didn't see that one.
But they explain Katana's sword like 3 times that it can steal souls. And I was like, okay, so what are we going to do with that? I figured they were going to trap Enchantress's soul in the sword because really you don't waste time explaining stuff unless you're going to use it in like an action
Let's
film.
think about the team they chose for like a military Black Ops mission where it's just like, well, we got a lady who can hit people with a bat. And we got a dude, like Deadshot works fine, he can stay.
Yeah.
But Boomerang too, it's like, well, he can throw boomerangs, some of them explode, some of them are,
So he's like a big
have
rowdy
damage
soccer
on.
hooligan.
It's like, we have guys who can operate drones and have grenades. It's like, why don't we take like 2 light machine gun squads?
We've got Killer Croc. He's a big, strong man who can swim.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the bomb was in the sewer so that Croc had something to do.
I love that the ancient beings that were all powerful could not look through the ground and see an explosion.
Yeah.
Also, that they could be stopped by a stupid explosion.
Diablo turns into that big, like, Aztec
Big
fireman.
Rasta
Yeah,
fireman.
like,
That was kind of cool.
it was cool, but why? And so, like,
They never give him like a
It's been a while since I played.
like the
Tapper.
Liz Sherman. Like,
Hey,
oh,
I'm
this
not
is
the
like,
worst.
Like this is not the this is the real version of his powers. They never really sell exactly what
Yeah.
he is to make that weird power reveal relevant.
there's a moment
Who's
in
going?
the film.
Do you want to go?
No.
Bueno.
Do you know?
Oh no.
There's
Yeah.
a moment in the film where Diablo starts to like reveal like what happened to him, and you're like, okay, we're giving him a little pathos. It's a little late in the game,
We're popping pathos.
and
on this.
I'm a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit
fine.
uninvested at this point, so you gotta really reel me. So they're giving him the pathos, like because like Diablo by and large is an interesting character on screen, because they're like he's like, oh, I don't do that anymore. I don't fight, and it's just like, okay, why did we pick you if you're not gonna fight? Like we could go find someone else who can fight.
Oh, you're the one person with superpowers.
Yeah, and like so.
I forgot.
He explains like what happened, how he like lost control and he torched his own house, so he surrendered and vowed to never use his power again, except when Deadshot just makes him slightly annoyed instead of just like a real reason for him to do it. And after that happens, Harley Quinn delivers the worst speech of Hot Topic slogans and says, no joke, the sentence, "Normal's a setting on a washing machine." Like, what the fuck? That's on a Hot Topic t-shirt. Like, I swear to God, normal is a setting on a washing machine. And it totally ruins any, like, pathos you might have had for Diablo, because here's this fucking,
Nope.
vapid-ass clown making fun of this man who lost his family.
Son of a bitch, tell me which one it is.
Nope. Far right.
And, like,
Now you know how the porn stars.
yeah. It mirrors that kind of, like...
Oh!
In Guardians, Rocket gives a similar speech to Drax. He's like, so what? We all have death. but it works there because Guardians is a good movie. Like,
Yeah.
And you feel for Drax and Rocket and Star-Lord and Gamora and Groot because, like, they made you kind of
shit,
care about
one
them.
too
They're not
many.
goblin people. Like,
It was a very focused flick.
yeah, their team is tighter. They develop enough time with each character. Like, you don't need to know Groot's entire story that he's like the last of a tree people, and like because he's a talking tree who says I am Groot, and he's very sweet. That's all you get. Like one moment in the movie just makes you love Groot. And it's when he leans down to that little girl and just gives her a flower. Like, here's this little fucking raccoon calling humans garbage, and then his like big tree friend just gives a girl a flower, and you're like,
Hey,
that's my boy, yeah. Like,
Hey, little ragamuffin.
yeah.
Here you go.
And like that was no dialogue.
Yeah.
It was nothing. And then you see Rocket's pain when they get caught because his back looks like it's in pain, and then he gets
Yeah.
drunk, and he never explicitly sits down and says like, this was my story. Like, the only person who really explains their story is kind of Gamora, who says like, oh, I was born to be a weapon, and you're like, okay, like,
And they
that's fine.
sort of underused her in that movie.
Yeah.
And they also kind of balanced her with
Yeah.
Nebula.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
respect, where it's like it's a combined with the other elements concerning Thanos and her sister.
And like Star-Lord being the protagonist, you like I tell everyone, and it's something you learn in school is you should know who your protagonist is by the first 5 minutes of a movie. Like really, in most cases, the first 5 minutes you should get the general sense of your protagonist. Like, I hate to bring it back to the future because I always do, but in the first 5 minutes, you know who Marty is. Like, it's very easy to tell the kind of person that Marty is, and he hardly says anything like in the first 5 minutes. But the first 5 minutes of Guardians, you see Star-Lord as a kid, and then you see the planet and him rock out to that Redbone song, Come and Get Your Love, and you're like, that's him. Like, he explores, he loves his music, and like, the soundtrack for Guardians makes sense with all its like needle drops of kind of like these like out of place.
It has an emotional context.
Yeah, it's Star-Lord's tether to the Earth, and in a sense, it's ours as well.
Yeah.
It's our tether back to the Earth. While this like cosmic stuff's happening, but all the needle drops in Suicide Squad are a cheap way to build mood rather than explaining it with your characters. Like,
And in ways that are so like predatory on other films.
yeah.
Like,
And like some of them like made sense, but others didn't. Like Killer Croc needle drops to Fortunate Son. Like, why? Like, what is Fortunate Son like? And then Harley's is that rap song "You Don't Own Me," which is hilarious because in this movie she's still like at the height of the abusive relationship with Joker, where she's still like madly in love, which makes like no
looked out
sense.
there.
And then like I just, there's so much fundamentally wrong with that movie, despite some like neat things happen. Oh, did you get to the punk level?
I think I might have, and
Dude.
I got Falling Duck.
You got Falling Duck.
The chase with Matt is on. Oh no, yeah, no.
No, this is after this one's the punk.
This would be the worst job ever. Because if you fucked up once, it's like, that's your ass. You're gone.
You're gone. You're fucking
Yeah.
gone. You're out.
You're out.
I was telling these guys before Bueno and Andrew, you woke up,
Yeah.
that there's a sentence that will snap me into like a white hot rage, where like an hour later I'm wiping blood off of my hands and I have no recollection of what I just did. And it's, well, if you read the comics, and then I just like snap back and just immediately deck the person in the throat because that's the most like elitist sentence to say about this shit. And I know that because I used to be one of those people.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, do you want to
it's
get
also a piss poor way.
one
to
in?
start.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, well, you got to wrap up your thoughts
yeah,
on
right,
one
we'll
more
get there.
round of tap.
I just hate that kind of elitist gatekeepering in comics because I shouldn't have to, and we have the benefit of having the background knowledge. So things are kind of like easier for us to get into. Like it's easier for us to accept Deadshot and like the whole of the Suicide Squad.
Honestly, good storytelling doesn't depend on secondary reference.
Exactly.
Right. Like, that's why whenever you make a movie from a book, it's like you can't... You have to make the movie work on its own.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just...
And
have
like
all these references and little things to the book where people go, oh my god, it's a dude! It's like, yeah, that's fun fan service, but you can't rely on that to make a movie.
That's such a good point, Andrew, because that's what Suicide Squad feels like to me.
Is that the whole thing?
Is
Oh,
multi-million-dollar fan service, and
then-
that sucks. Like, And like I hate to keep comparing it to Guardians because they're kind of like similar.
They're similar movies.
They're similar veins, like, but Guardians made a whole bunch of new people love their characters.
Yeah.
Just with their movie, people who have never read Guardians comics are watching a cartoon that they made of them, picking up Rocket's solo run, reading Guardians, like, and I think that's the point, like, isn't it? Like, and if some people see Suicide Squad and become more interested in the comics, good on them, like, great. But I just don't want these characters to get turned off because their movie did so poorly, like, because I love Captain Boomerang. Matt and Bueno and I talk about how much we love the Central City Rogues so much because they're like
blue collar, like,
and I like Bueno said, good media doesn't need secondary reference. Like, I shouldn't have to read years of comic books to understand Suicide Squad. I should just get it from the movie.
You already sort of touched on this point, but I said earlier, I'm friends with somebody on Facebook who has put up a couple memes being like, watch, like, every girl is gonna like love Harley Quinn now, and I was like, well, Harley Quinn's already like
pretty
popular already, and it's okay if this movie gets somebody into something.
Yeah, plus like the comics with Harley are good. She's like a real abuse survivor in the comics, and she's not with the Joker anymore, and she's evolved.
Hiram.
What's
wrong with you?
That's fucking everything up, Hiram!
Giuseppe, you're fired.
And like she's got great books surrounded around her, and I would love to get more people interested in. It's like, oh, this is Harley kind of at the height of when she's the least interesting, is when she's like just kind of kowtow to the Joker, and she's the most interesting when she breaks from that.
Everyone started really liking her when they paired her up with Poison Ivy in the original,
so good
animated series.
That episode that's like Girls' Night Out.
Yeah.
Super fucking good. That moment where she like pulls the rocket launcher out and like shoots those guys in the car. Like I love that shit, but I just it's frustrating because like we're all fans of comic books and we're all fans of movies, so you want them to do well, but
and there's also this thing going on right now where it's a contest between DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
which
Marvel's winning, but I love them both. I want them both to succeed. It's beneficial for both of them to succeed.
This is like back in the day, and it probably still happens now, but I would always get in these when I was in high school, these arguments with people about like which publishing group was better. And I was such a Marvel fanboy at the time. I was like, it's always Marvel. It's always going to be Marvel.
Dragging your ass on the
Dragging your ass out the gate.
Get
you can't service beer anymore.
No, now they can drink all the beer that they want. But like,
oh wow,
nice. It reminds me of those days because like people are still arguing like, oh, Marvel's so much better than DC, which right now they're right, but like, like cinematically. But I love all the characters for different reasons, and I always tell Jess, who doesn't read a lot of comic books, that I like Marvel because like the difference for me is that DC is about superheroes who are also people, and Marvel is about people who are also superheroes. And I feel like that's where the distinction in the publication lies for me.
Yeah.
And I always tell Jess, I was like, if you want to get into Justice League, there's a lot. I don't think anybody should admire Batman. Because he's an insane person who trained his mind and body to soul to brutalize men in the night dressed as a bat. Like he's a lunatic. But you should admire his conviction.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can actually, same with Sherlock Holmes, where he's like they present him again in the show and stuff. The guy's a cultured sociopath, but at the same time, he certainly has a laser cut skill set.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but
And like people are like, oh, I don't like Superman because he's like too powered, and it's like, well, you can like the things that Superman stands for. He's the all-American. Yeah. Like you can enjoy his disconnect from humanity because of it.
The thing I like, I'm a big Superman fan.
Yeah.
I love Superman.
Me too.
The thing that I really like about Superman more than anything else is like, it's going to be inevitable. You're going to have some character at some point who can do everything and is all powerful. And what's interesting to me at that point is, Hiram.
I think I beat my high score.
You
still.
did! Look at that! But what's
Champion
interesting
tapper!
to me about Superman is not only how he reacts to it, but also how the world reacts to it.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, he can do anything. What keeps him from just going out and saying, fuck it, and becoming the fascist like he was in the Injustice storyline?
Or like Red Sun style.
Or Red
like,
Sun style,
He's the kind of character that the world has to treat like its own nation.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of power and presentation and what he means on a global scale. And that's a fun thing to explore.
Exactly. It's so fun and interesting.
Although there is
Hiram, do you have any comic book based games?
Yeah, there's tons.
We might as well just get into comic book game and
Comic
just do
book-
this.
All right, we'll do that next.
Yeah.
Next episode.
Oh, wait, we don't, next episode? Oh, wait.
I love Superman, but there's something that's always been hilarious.
Bueno.
We're gonna boot you off the Andrew couch.
Brian. Hey, Brian.
Matt,
Brian.
go away. We're playing a game.
Brian, did you hear about the Andrew couch?
No, I didn't hear about the Andrew couch. Why would I? About the Andrew couch?
Well, you should care about the Andrew couch.
Matt, we're outside playing a game. Like, wait. We're playing out here because you're supposed to be watching Ash vs. Evil Dead to catch up with us.
Yeah, man.
Is that what you're doing?
You keep guilting us into not watching more because you haven't seen it yet.
Jason's killing me at Gloom, and you're still not watching Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm waiting to go back inside. It's cold out here.
Matt, we hate you. You're the worst.
The Andrew couch.
What is the Andrew couch? Fuck you.
Brian would also like to say mail or something.